When a man wants to get married to someone he loves, does he just meet the girl and then elope with the lady in question? The answer is no. You have to come and seek the consent and approval of the lady's parents before they can even start up anything as regards to marriage. So that's the same way it works when it comes to things pertaining to land, to alienation of land, the buying and selling of land, particularly lands that comes with certificate of occupancy. This brings us to what is referred to as governor's consent. Now I'm going to explain governor's consent in the simplest explanation. The first person that occupies a virgin land is the person that is entitled to the certificate of occupancy, which is the C of O. So that first person would apply to the land registry and eventually gets what we know as a C of O. Now, having gotten that C of O, for that person to be able to sell it to a different person entirely, that first person needs what we know as governor's consent. All right, meaning the governor's consent must be there for that person, first person, to be able to successfully alienate or sell that land to the second person. Okay, now if the second person, if there's a governor's consent, it means that the land has successfully been transferred from the first owner to the second owner. Now, if the second owner wants to sell the land to a third owner, the third owner and the second owner needs what we know as the governor's consent. Okay, the governor's approval, it must be there. Otherwise, whichever transaction they are embarking on is invalid and unlawful. Okay, so that's how it keeps going whenever the new owner wants to sell it to another person, and this is what we refer to as governor's consent. Okay, in the simplest form. Now, the reason why this is done is simply because it is in accordance with the Land Use Act of 1978. Section 22, subsection 1 of that act shows us that for a holder of statutory right of occupancy, that is someone who owns a land that has a C of O, for the person to be able to give that land or sell that land or mortgage the land or even sublease the land to another person, there must be the governor must have consented to that alienation, that mortgage, or that sublease. Okay, the governor must have consented to it, meaning he must have obtained the consent of the governor. So that failure to do this renders the transaction, the alienation, the sale, the mortgage invalid. So that's what the law is saying. So for any transaction to be valid, there must be the governor's consent. Now you should understand that the C of O can only be issued to one person. Okay? Only one person can have a C of O. That is the first owner of that land who has applied for a C of O will be the only person that have a C of O on that particular land. Two people cannot have a C of O on a land. And if something like that happens, it's either it is an error from the land bureau or the other C of O is fake, because there cannot be two holders of a certificate of occupancy in a particular plot of land. But when it comes to governor's consent, each new buyer, each new owner of that land is entitled to apply for governor's consent. Now, governor's consent is very important if you want to secure the ownership of your land. If you don't want any disturbance or issues from Omonile or any adverse party or encumbrances, then you need to get a governor's consent. And a governor's consent is simply registered with the land registry. All right. So what it does is that it is more like it gives notice to the whole world that you are actually the owner, one of the owners of that land. It shows the history of the owners of the land. If you obtain the governor's consent on a particular land that you've gotten or that you've bought, whoever that wants to get that land, maybe Omonile wants to sell that land to another person, it is now left for that other person to conduct due diligence through his lawyer. They will discover your name in that land when they eventually go to the land registry and other necessary governmental bodies. Your name will be shown on that land as the current owner. So it's more like telling the whole world that, see, you own this land, stay off. So that's what one of the importance of the governor's consent. And again, when it comes to land grabbers, it saves you a lot from land grabbers. From experience, I've observed that most land that has been resold by land grabbers, which we all know as the unmoneyless, are land that do not have governor's consent. For instance, there are people that buys land from these land grabbers or moneyless or chiefs or village people or even a family. And when the family notices that they've not obtained governor's consent, you see that this family or the chiefs or the moneyless will keep reselling this land because they know that you don't want to spend money on getting the governor's consent. So they keep reselling this land. You see? So that's why it's important to get your governor's consent after purchasing a land that comes with a C of O. This governor's consent solidifies your ownership to that land and it bars Omonile chiefs or whichever person you buy that land from reselling it because your interest has been registered on that land. So I believe you've learned something today. And if you've not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to this channel. I promise you that you will learn a lot of things pertaining to real estate from this channel. Subscribe to this channel. If you have any questions, drop it on the comment section. I will be glad to respond to you. My name is Isaac Okeke, and I'm your property lawyer, your real estate entrepreneur who uses law as a tool to safeguard the best interests of my clients. See you when I see you again. Bye bye.